Publicity is something you have a ton of experience with. And we often talk about ways to amplify the brand identity, whether that's social media or the different touch points that people have to access you. So when is the right time for an artist to think about engaging in a publicist to help them further amplify their identity?
The time part is a good part of that question. Like with everything we discuss in this, we go back to why. Why do you want to engage one? I think there's often a confusion about what publicity even is. It's confused with marketing, it's confused with promotion, it's confused with building a fan base.
So what is it?
Okay. So from my lens of somebody who's been in it a long time, before I helped build publicity agencies, I hired them. And I thought it was something else too. When I was representing artists and paying the bill and hiring PR for them, I thought it was something different than it was. Number one, a publicist's audience is not the music consumer public. A publicist's audience are writers, editors, curators, people like that. So they have a narrow audience. A publicist is trying to build your credibility and your visibility amongst that audience, not the public. People think about it the other way around. I'm gonna hire a publicist, everybody's gonna know about my stuff, and my numbers are going to go up. Can they? Sure. Do they always? No. Right? Doesn't work that way. The right time is when you understand what it is first, and then you understand why you're doing it. Right? So a publicist is trying to build the awareness level amongst people who write about music, cover it, feature it. And they're telling them your story and your music with the intention of those people covering it in some sort of way, putting it on a playlist, doing an article about it, doing a feature about it, interview, whatever it may be. And then when they do that, that goes out to the broader audience of that publication. And that's the reach. Nobody knows what's going to happen at that point. This is where your origin story, like usually for young artists, the first publicity campaign is about establishing who they are. So it's like most press around them is going to be origin story based. So you want to develop that first. Publicity is a way to disseminate your origin story and get it out there, so that when people discover you, if they want to learn more, they can, with what I would call context for the listening.
Okay.
Right? So when people learn about you at a deeper level, they might listen to you different.
Yeah, totally.
Certainly has happened with me a lot. If I know a particular story of an artist or a story of a record, and then you listen to it, you hear it different. So when you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, ask somebody. Right? I believe that it's the responsibility of a publicity agency or a publicist to educate the artist on it before they do it, so that they know what it is. Because then you're not set up for disappointment, where you do 3 to 5 months of publicity and your numbers don't explode. They were never intended to. That's just not how it works.
Interesting.
Publicist doesn't control that. Neither does the media. There's another way to look at publicity too. Every piece of press that a publicist gets you, especially nowadays with everything, 99.9% of things being digital, everything that they secure for you is a piece of content. So publicists are content creators in a way.
Now they are.
Now they are. They're creating digital content for you to use on your social media as validating content.
Yep.
So someone else is validating you, and you can use that as content to push out there. Changes the perception of how people look at you when you're being validated by others.
Yep.
So this is what a publicist is for. It's about getting the attention of people who are gatekeepers and curators in the music space, telling your story in a compelling way, and fighting for you to get coverage. Like, that's what the work is. And if you're an artist and you understand that, then I think you're ready for it. And, doing the brand identity development work, understanding your message, understanding the narrative you want to be told about you that particular time in your career, knowing those things, knowing how it works, knowing what it is and what it isn't, then you're ready for it.
Right. Well, I think that's the confusing part, that you think, well, it's easy to think that a publicist's job is to put that together, like package it all up and send it off. But if you don't actually have a very clear identity of who you are, then they can't tell it to somebody else.
Right.
Like, you have to do that yourself.
They can help because they're objective, so they can help piece it together, but the core of it's got to be well thought out.
Yeah.
The story they're pitching can't be artist from wherever releases new single. That can't be it. You know, that's not going to do it. There's got to be an angle or something that resonates. You know, publicists are trying to find what's going to resonate with a particular writer. They might do this keyword exercise on a particular writer.
Yeah.
A keyword mapping exercise. This is a good match for this artist and this story. Or this writer likes to write about certain stories or certain types of stories. So you try to play matchmaker with the identity of the writer or the publication and the song and the story behind it. It's the same type of work. So publicists can help you pull this all together. It's their job to help shape it, but you've got to have like the clay put together for them to help shape. You've got to sort that out. So that's important work to be doing beforehand.
Having been through this myself with a few publicists, it's confusing because you were talking about that external validation is so addicting.
Sure.
Right? Whether it's from people that you care about or people that you don't know about, like getting that external validation as artists is a really important thing, that positive feedback to like keep you going. And people are always saying, you know, well, you should have people do reviews of your work or send it out to blogs and get on a playlist. And then people are sort of, you know, they're like, well, how? You know,
Sure.
And so this seems like an obvious answer to the question in some sense. But if you don't have, like you were saying, those raw materials and you're not ready, then it's a total waste of people's time and money. If the timing isn't right and you're not ready to do that, I think that it's like a slippery slope and a dangerous path to walk down.
Yeah, it can be. You've got to try to work with people who are going to be honest with you about whether it's the right time. Ultimately, a publicist has to do the work. So if it's not the right time, they shouldn't be taking it on because they're the ones who actually have to advocate on your behalf and push for you. And if it's not ready, it's half-baked. And not ready is a subjective thing.
That's true.
You know, sometimes it can be early and there can be little brand establishment, but the material's really ready. Mm-hmm. And it's just early days, and that's fine enough to talk about.
Well, it's an interesting place for somebody to start thinking because labels don't exist in the way that they used to exist, right? Where you'd just be signed and then there's the publicity arm and the distribution arm. Like
Sure.
Artists have the ability to sort of piece together whatever it is that they think they need at any moment in time.
Yep.
And working with a publicist is, I think in some ways, a really great decision or a great choice for certain people at certain times. And in other times, not so much. And I learned a lot by kind of doing it the hard way and then the right way later on.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. Sometimes a publicist is the only team member of an artist.
Yep.
It's often the first one.
Yes, that was my experience.
Because you have a choice. You have a choice in that. You don't often have a choice of managers. You don't go like shopping for them.
No.
So you can kind of choose, and it's like you can get somebody on board early to help you shape. It's like a publicist is really part of an artist development team in a way. Even though their job is to do the media work, they're often a psychiatrist and an artist developer and a creative consultant, creative director all wrapped into one. They can be a valuable team member that does more work than just the pitching side of it. But you're also going to them because they have relationships with gatekeepers or curators or the media because that's what they do all day long. So it's a more effective move to make than trying to become one yourself. You wear enough hats as an artist. So going back to the perception side of this, I got an email from an artist a few years ago, and she was referred by a friend. And in her signature, she had a press quote from Rolling Stone.
Okay.
And my eyes went right there. And I was like, oh, damn, she must be good.
Okay.
So my impression of her, my perception of her was already that it was good because it was validated by a credible source.
Yep.
I clicked the link to listen to her music. I was listening from a place of, this is going to be good because they say so. Mm-hmm. So it changed the way I listened. It also changed the way I responded to her. I was more immediate in getting back to her because like someone with a valuable opinion in the music landscape says something good about this person. They must be good. They demand more of my attention. So even someone who's in the business, I was influenced by it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a sneaky little piece of the value of doing that work. You can pull quotes and you get like this validation from different sources. Even somebody who doesn't read Rolling Stone might know that that's credible.
Yeah. I think they know what Rolling Stone is.
Right. So that's how another way that you can look at this. And then publicity is different. Also, people need to remember this. A publicist and their job is way different when they're working with an established artist as to when they're working with a new one, or kind of one that's on the rise. That is pure hustle and a lot of no's. You get a lot of rejection as a publicist. It's a hard job because you work really hard and your win percentage is tiny. And it's very, very competitive to get you coverage. When you're a publicist for a major artist, you're fielding requests. It's a different thing. You do create and go out there, but you've got leverage. You've got either social currency, name recognition, a lot of previous context. You've got previous press you can leverage. It's a different job. It's fielding requests and finding the right ones. So sometimes people who are coming up think that that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Like the publicist is going to have stuff come to them, and it isn't like that. You've really got to hustle. So yeah, you got to know what publicity is and be educated on that. I think it's really important. Then you got to know why you're doing it. What's the purpose of it? How to communicate. You show up and you talk to your publicist with the voice of your brand, right? Like that's really important so that they start to talk with the voice of your brand. People don't think about that too often. If you show up a certain way to any of your team members, over time, they will start to mirror that, and they will start to talk to other people in the voice of your brand.